slogans. We need solutions, not more gimmicks. We need a government with a grip. She's clearly not capable of it, so why doesn't she move over and leave way to someone else?
A blow to the government's Rwanda scheme today, and now all eyes on the Supreme Court that will consider today's judgment. They'll do the right thing, one minister told me. But what, I said, if they don't, does that mean we pull out of the European Convention on Human Rights? I didn't detect the appetite for that step right now, but then the minister added, Rishi will stop the boats. From a former cabinet minister, adieu to Strasbourg may be on the cards, but one thing is clear.
If we don't resolve this, we will not be in government after the next election. I think the Prime Minister realises that. I hope my colleagues realise that. This is an absolutely existential issue for the Conservative government faced with this level of pressure. And I think it's not a choice, it's not some political tactic to have this fight. It's a necessary fight for us to have. The reality is that it makes a mockery of our vote to leave the European Union, which was in large part about immigration control, if we then cannot credibly police our own borders.
Don't forget history, say the Lib Dems.
The UK was one of the original members of the ECHR. This is not something that somebody else came up with, which was imposed on us from outside. This is our idea. This is our way of protecting human rights here and abroad. And for a British government to turn round and say that they don't respect it or they want to leave it would be unthinkable.
If the UK withdrew from the ECHR, it would be the only country in the history of the Council of Europe, of 47 countries throughout Europe, to permanently withdraw. It would join Belarus, that never joined for obvious reasons, and also Russia, that was kicked out by the Council of Europe in 2022 for invading Ukraine.
A trademark pose for the drawing up of Europe's post-war human rights framework. Clear words, but a disputed legacy.
Well, Nick there now to give us an insight into how voters view all this. Scarlett Maguire, Director of the pollster JL Partners, is here. Scarlett, good evening. Give us a sense of just how important migration is to the voters at the moment.
So I think that's a good question. So migration is incredibly important to voters. About 1 in 3 voters place it in their top 3 issues. But I think what Simon Clarke was getting at there is that it is existential for the Conservatives in that it's important to the voters that they need to win back. So he'll be thinking squarely about those voters who voted Conservative in 2019, who are now saying they're undecided, not the ones that have switched to Labour, but those ones in the middle. And you see from the data, but also from focus groups, that this is an incredibly important issue. And now the means don't necessarily matter. It doesn't have to be Rwanda, it doesn't have to be ECHR, but they will need to deliver on it.
And any idea of demographic disparity?
Demographic disparity is not massive. As I said, it's more that the 2019 seats that went Conservative, those red wall seats, feel it stronger, and then you see it in areas where the problem might be more concentrated, like in Kent.
Thank you very much indeed, Scarlett. Well, in a moment I'll be talking to Labour Shadow Immigration Minister Stephen Kinnock. But first, for the Conservatives, Laura Farris joins me. Laura Farris, good